Transition Radio TV brought to you by thebreastformstore.com. They have everything you could possibly need for your cross-dressing and transgender needs. Visit their website at www.thebreastformstore.com and tell them Transition Radio sent you.
The following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. A 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Wilton Manors, Florida, with your host, Mark Angelo Cummings.
A show for trans folks, by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard.
I love that song. I never get tired of listening. Well, welcome to another edition of Transition Radio TV, live from Wilton Manors, Florida, Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for joining me and for being such a great support to this wonderful dream that was started last September. Well, tonight I've got Morgan. Morgan always knew she was born in the wrong body. She says, I can remember asking my mother at a very early age, maybe 4, when do I get to carry the purse? Being a child of the 50s, that little bit of honesty got me smack in the head. From that point on, I was convinced that the truth about me was wrong and was something I would have to hide to get by in the world. 10 years ago, I was working as an iron worker in Jersey City. 10 minutes before lunch on a Friday, in April, I went to move a sheet of plywood out of the way. My first step was good. My second one was in a 2-story hole. I fell from the 28th floor to the 26th floor, 24 feet, breaking 29 bones. I was in and out of consciousness. The first time I came to, I looked out in front of me and saw the whole working gang standing in a half circle in front of me. The only thing I could think of was, Joey, do you think this was the best day for Jungle Red on your toes? I didn't think I'd just fallen 2 stories, and I'm probably going to die. No, I thought all these iron workers I've been working with for 10 years are going to see my legs are shaved and my toes are painted. The next time I came to, I was in intensive care where I realized life is too precarious to live a lie. I was going to do this. I was going to come out as a woman. So here I am, 12 years later, living my life as my true self, performing as a stand-up comedian, telling my truth to audiences full of people who aren't prepared for it. Suddenly, you have years of major reconstructive surgeries ahead of you, not to mention the pain and trauma of your near-death experience. Your life has been changed forever. I'm going to realize my lifetime dream and become a woman. After spending 2 years recovering from the fall, Morgan started on the road to sexual reassignment and had them install a $23,000 vagina.
So there's a lot of things that the trans woman isn't privy to before this whole life-changing operation, right? Some of them are innocuous, some of them not so innocuous. Like I spent at least $300 on bras, right? I was almost ready to relinquish to one more surgery. I was gonna have fucking Velcro installed on my shoulders, right? I finally got the courage to step to this one genetic woman. I said, I've spent about $300 on bras. None of the straps will stay up. She looked me right in the face and goes, oh yeah, they don't. You could have told me at $50. I don't need a bra. These are excruciatingly perky for being hung on a 57-year-old woman. Another thing that the trans woman isn't privy to before this whole life-changing operation has to do with and there's a bunch of you in here, and it's a church, and this is probably when the lightning strike's gonna happen, people, so just stay seated, it'll all be okay. They'll take my charred body out that way. The other thing has to do with the proper care and maintenance of your brand new hoo-hoo. Did I tell you I spent 23 grand for new boobs and a hoo-hoo? I did mention that, right? I need to preempt this whole thing. Yeah, I call it my hoo-hoo. I got 23 grand wrapped up in it. I'm gonna call it what I want. All right, so one of the things that trans woman isn't privy to before this whole life-changing thing has to do with the proper care and maintenance of your brand new hoo-hoo. It's hard. It's hard in a church. It's hard anywhere, but it's really hard in a church. About 2 months ago, I wake up to this, let's call it an unusual smell. Hey, I'm telling the truth, people. Suck it up. I'm looking all around the bedroom for the origin of this unusual smell. Finally, I realized that smell's coming from my $23,000 hoo-hoo. I am pissed. $23,000 hoo-hoos are not supposed to smell like that. $8 hoo-hoos, maybe. My girlfriend says not to worry, baby. It's treatable. Go see your doctor. I was like, oh yeah, we going to see my doctor. I get in to see her. She says, Morgan, how do you know something's wrong? I was like, my brand new hoo-hoo, it smells. I think it's broke. She leans into me all sincere, like it's old home week or some shit. She says, you know, they smell a little bit. I was like, baby, that may be, but if this one does, it better do it like a new car. I got way too much money wrapped up in this one. Then she asked me if it smells like fish. I was like, no, Then she asks, does it smell like bread? The only thing I could think of is, where does this woman buy her sandwiches? It's fun in here, people. It's very much fun in here. And my gynecologist refuses to come to a show because early on I let her know she made it to the bit. She's like, oh no. So another thing that really annoys me after, I got a lot of money wrapped up in this, So it really annoys me when people get the pronoun wrong. Like when my gynecologist calls me sir. Prompts such buyer's remorse. And one of the thing that I found that works as a really wonderful remedy is I don't go anywhere without watch out for lightning strikes again too, I just thought of that. I don't go anywhere without an 8x10 color glossy of my brand new vagina. And I only use the term brand new because in that wonderful photo it still has the price tag on it. That worked so well, I figured, you know what, let's put together a gag license with that same photo on it, right? So I had this little gag license made up, and that was fine right up until we got to the part where I put it in the same fold in my wallet as my real license, which was also okay until last week when I got stopped for speeding. And I just pulled my license out and handed it to the nice young officer, and he's looking at my license, and he looks in the car. He looks at the license, and he looks in the car over the top of his aviator sunglasses. And I'm like, oh yeah, officer, my hair was different then. I was growing out my badge. The last thing I want to tell you about is affirmation for the trans woman, right? I just never know where it's going to come from next. Take this evening. I was driving here in our brand new Mini Cooper, and I may or may not have cut this young man off. And he rolled the window down and he screamed out the window, "You stupid bitch!" And I was like, oh, he gets it. Thank you. My name is Morgan.
And now, welcome to the show, the amazingly funny Morgan.
Oh my goodness.
$23,000 hoo-hoo. That's a car right there.
Yeah.
$23,000.
We actually spent less for the Mini that we have in San Francisco.
So, did you discover what that smell was, or you left us hanging?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the idea with some of that. It's a big reveal, not a reveal. It was a yeast infection, which speaks to the authenticity of my new parts.
Wow.
But, genetic women don't want to, they don't want to give you too much to go on. You have to be very inquisitive.
Yes. There's also maintenance that has to take place when you get that new hoo-hoo, or else it closes up and it's not as,
Yeah, early on. They give you, Dr. Marcy Bowers did my surgery, and it's a one-step procedure where she builds everything. And they give you 3 Pyrex stints and tell you that you have to use them so many times a day for so many minutes.
Wow.
Kind of exciting.
I'm sure it is.
But boring after a while. I have a story that goes with those. I don't know.
Good.
I don't know if you're ready for that. Well, I just spent like 23 grand for this, body part of my dreams, and I was willing to do whatever it was that they said I needed to do, and they came at me with these 3 Pyrex stints, 3 different colors, 3 different circumferences, and they said you need to use these like 4 times a day, 5 times a day for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to keep it open. You need to use it or it will go away. More of that buyer's remorse. So I was willing to do like whatever it was that they wanted me to do, but once I realized that it wasn't going to go away, those 3 glass stints were kind of boring. And I live in San Francisco, and there's a place on Valencia called Good Vibrations. So I knew there was other things I could do. So I went there and I got a new vibrator that was ribbed and fit nicely and vibrated, and that too was kind of boring after a while. And I noticed that my genetic female lover was having a really good time with this little vibrator that she had. So I walked myself back down Valencia again and went into Good Vibrations, and I never had a problem telling my truth. I told the little girl, I have this new hoo-hoo, and I'm looking to take it for a ride. My girlfriend seems to be having a really good time with this little vibrator. And I don't know if it's my voice or the fact that I lived for like 50 years as a man, but they always want to show me giant stuff when I go in there. And she came at me, the first time she came at me with this thing that, I don't know, it looked like it might have been a baby fist or something. And I was like, oh no, not in my $23,000 vagina, And I finally got her on the same page as me, and she came to me with this little vibrator, and she held it up, and just as a genetic woman giving me this information, and I'm on hormones all the time. Hormones is, air quotes, chemically induced female adolescence at 61. Hello, I'm like batshit from any moment to the next. But this genetic female holds this little vibrator up, and she says to me, this is so strong and so quiet that you can just put it in and go about your day. And I was like, so that's what all them women are smiling about. And I was like, well, you know what? I got this information from a genetic female. I'm doing this, right? So I go home. This is going to hurt your mind's eye, but bear with me. I'm completely naked. I have this little vibrator in, and it's working away nicely, and I can't figure out if I'm hearing it or I'm feeling it. And I have nobody to bounce it off of except for Jasper, my dog. So you need to try and envision me running around the house naked with a vibrator in, leading with my $23,000 vagina going, Jasper, Jasper, can you hear this? As dog responses go, I don't think he could. So I'm like, okay, task at hand. This genetic woman told me I can just go about my day with this, right? The next thing I was going to do was make dinner, right? And I needed to go to the grocery store. The grocery store is about a block and a half away from our house. The walk there that day was like unusually long and very exciting. And I got in the store, and as a, like, I don't have enough shit on my plate. I'm also an addict in recovery, and as I recall, when I used to smoke dope, I believed everybody knew I was high, right? So I get in the store with this little vibrator in, and I'm dressed, and I don't know if they can hear it or not, but I'm just convinced everybody knows, and I'm trying to keep my wits about me, and I'm like, oh my God, but everybody knows. And I'm like, no, just go to the back of the store. We'll start dinner with a salad. So I'm starting to walk to the back of the store, and over the PA system I hear, clean up in aisle 3. And I was like, damn, I'm in aisle 3. No, never mind. Task at hand. So I just keep going to the back, and I get to where the produce is. And the first bin of produce that I come up to has the most manly cucumber I have ever seen in my life. And I was like, okay, we'll have that. Put that in a basket. I put that in a basket. I walk a few steps farther, and there was the most darling squash I've ever seen in my life. I've never had squash in a salad before, but I was like, yeah, throw that in there, right? The next thing I came to in the produce bin was broccoli. I had never had a thing for broccoli. But at that moment, I believe all my stuff came online, and I may have made a noise there in the grocery store at the produce, and I got done making my noise, and I looked alongside of me, and there was this old woman looking up at me. She was shorter than me. She was looking up at me, and she said to me, I really like vegetables too, honey.
On the chat room, we've got Kevin and John who's saying, hi, Morgan. It's Kevin and John. We have
Hi, Morgan. Hi, Kevin and John. How are you? And then that old woman said to me, I think your cell phone is ringing.
Oh, my God.
So there's a little truth for you. I have to be out of my mind to let this go on the web.
Oh, wow.
But I guess that's part of being a good comedian.
Yeah, that's definitely it. You know, I've always wondered when I hear every trans person say, myself included, that we knew we were born in the wrong body. Can you explain your version of this? And please feel free to use your amazing humor.
I can remember being shorter than a post and rail fence, being like looking up at my mother's waist and grabbing the handle of her purse and saying to her, asking her, when do I get to carry the purse? How about some frilly stuff for me? And that you know, being a child of the 50s, that drew me a slap in the head. So, you know, that led to a whole bunch of covert stuff. Yeah, and that was my blood mother. I don't mean to sound like a Native American or a vampire or something, but that was the mother that bore me, and she gave me up. My father left, and it was that whole thing. He left. My mother did it for as long as she could, and then she couldn't, and I was adopted by my aunt and uncle, who I also told I could only go through life all the way till I transitioned. I could only go at the outside like 2 years of stuffing it and not letting anybody else in on it. And and like that.
The fun of having hair, I have none, so
Yeah,
I wear hats.
yeah. Okay, yeah. I guess I could have done that. But I'm
That's the
braver
bad
than
thing
that.
about becoming a man. It's like you get hair everywhere in your body, but you lose it on the top of your head. So
Uh-huh.
I had to live with
Yeah,
that one.
I
I'm all crooked.
this
Okay.
is the fruits of $11,000 worth of electrology because I don't know if did I send you the before and after photo?
I don't think you did. You only sent me the ones that Joe showed in the front of the show.
Okay,
Never
because
sent me. I don't ever push that. I would love to have before pictures. That way people could see, or
yeah,
even a transition video.
I
But
have one that I had blown up, and and it's and I use it on stage sometimes, but I had to affix it to a window shade because it was very distracting, and people would like go there and have a hard time with it. I don't know if this is going to work,
bring it towards there, right there. Oh, wow.
but that was me.
Wow.
And I also, that was me in 1990, and uh, my wife sent that to me, titled "The Man of My Dreams,"
Huh.
and you can where the $11,000 worth of electrology went, and
Yeah.
that has to be the strangest Victoria's Secret underwear commercial you've ever seen.
Definitely.
Okay, that's
So
enough
what
show
was
and tell.
your relationship like with your mother, and was your realization and changes something she could handle, or was that an awkward moment for her?
It was an awkward moment for her. That was like my giving up the fact that I was insane, and in order to pursue that in any way, I wound up doing a lot of. I was a habitual runaway. I would run away. I used to shop in Salvation Army boxes for ladies' clothes, and I used to go out in the woods and dress up for the squirrels. The neat thing about squirrels is they don't judge. You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask me something else. I've hitchhiked over 40,000 miles from the time I was 13. I did my first coast to coast at 13.
Wow.
I was, I think they call it incorrigible. Stopped going to school in like 7th grade and started, I stuck my thumb out in Dover, New Jersey and pulled it back in Sacramento, California. That was my first coast to coast.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did a lot of that, but it was all running to try and be who I really was. And the only I can remember a little blurb in passing about Christine Jorgensen, and I was like, because I'm not from that time. She was a little before my time, but there was a big void after that where you didn't hear anything. Now it's like so much of what you hear. I don't feel so all alone or so special, which is good and it's bad because I kind of like to feel special.
I think we're special. I think even though there's a lot of us now, I think there's something very special about us. I'm a great believer that things happen for a reason. Do you think that your tragedy happened for a reason, or would you have embarked on your journey either way if you hadn't fallen from that?
No, I would still be ironworking. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I would still be married, but I would still be ironworking. But after I fell, my Billy, my ex, knew it was either step to this or die. I couldn't live a lie anymore. And I had told her what went on with me early on, but we just couldn't find a way to get with that. And we cried a lot.
Here's another clip
from the other room.
And we did. She's in the other room. Here's another clip of one of your performances.
Morgan! So you've made it all the way to the diversity portion of the show. My name's Morgan, and I'm transgendered. That would be the diversity part. Male to female, for those of you that might have left your glasses home. I can't tell how much you're drinking. Lights and all are in my eyes. I've always spoken with my hands. I'm of Italian descent. I've always had the ability to ask the hard questions. And take this morning, for instance, when I asked the, what is this microphone doing? Stay. Take this morning, for instance, when I asked... Take this morning, for instance, when I asked the handsome young black man, does your 700-pound brother know you borrowed his pants today? And I was having such a good time with hard questions, I figured one more ain't gonna hurt. But the whole time while I was talking to him, he was standing like this. So I stuck it out there and I said, and will your cock fall off if you let go of it? Because I had to have mine surgically removed. All right then. Segue. Put an outfit like this together. These size 4 jeans. It's so much easier now that I'm on the other side of my operation. Because, and this is, you know, I don't care whether I can see it for the lights or not. This is hard to let go of in a room full of people. I don't know. But the truth is, prior to my operation, I used to be hung. Any of the women in the room know if you can fit your ass in a pair of size 4 jeans, you're going to. And I would tuck all that into my jeans and get them up, and if I sat down the wrong way, I could involuntarily make a noise that sounded just like cats fucking. It also made my eyes water really bad. So, trans people have a tendency to overcompensate. The pinnacle of that for me was union ironwork. You clean up pretty good for an ironworker, don't you? And I'd be, and I did high iron in Jersey City. And I'd be on, say, the, 15th, 16th floor with the boys right before, this is going to keep doing that. And I don't feel like limboing through the rest of this. So I'm going to hold this. Woo. So I'd be on like the 10th or 15th floor with the boys right before lunch, looking over the side at the girls going by down below. And the guys that I was with, they were thinking, I could do them girls. I was thinking, I could do that outfit. Look at those shoes. Wow. So 5 years ago, I'm on the 28th floor, tidying up. Because I have some of the same traits Lauren has, and it was messy, and I was tidying up, and I picked up this piece of plywood on the 28th floor, and I went to push it out of my way. My first step was good. My second step was in a 2-story hole. I went from 28 to 26 express. And I broke all the shit you can break in a 2-story fall. Right? Broke like 29 bones. And I came to and kind of came to. I was in and out for days. But I came around in intensive care, and I realized morphine is a wonderful drug. The next thing I realized was there's plenty of ugly women out there. I'm doing this. Segue again. So when I first started getting out as Morgan, I got to tell you, it was not as easy to look at as it is now. On any given day, you might have thought, clown, On another day, you might have thought hooker. On a bad day, you might have thought clown hooker. I thought the girl at the Lancome counter liked me. I was a fucking gold mine. I needed a quarter-inch of stuff on my face before I could go out. And even at that, I had like a, I don't know, an hour, few-hour time limit before that stuff started sprouting out of my face and stuff. And so part of transitioning well is getting on hormones. And my endocrinologist, I'm from New Jersey, in case you haven't figured that out. Yeah, my endocrinologist was in Manhattan, and I used to drive to Jersey City and take the water taxi across, right? And there's all kinds of ironwork going on in Jersey City. And this one day, I had parked my vehicle, and I was walking to the water taxi, and I look out in front of me on the sidewalk, and here comes two ironworkers walking down the sidewalk, right at me. And they're ironworkers that were on the same building that I was on. But they don't recognize me because I'm doing, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, clown hooker, I guess. They don't know who I am. And I'm not going to let that pass because I'm who I am. So I say, hi, I'm Morgan. I used to be Joe. And they were like, wow, you really did bang your fucking head. That was just me.
You're incredibly funny. It's, yeah.
Thank you.
I know you're very proud of your vagina. Do you feel that genitals make a man or a woman?
I wouldn't want to speak for everyone, but they certainly completed me. That was, that was the biggest part of getting everything in order. That was all I wanted. So yeah, I can only speak for me, but it was very important that I do it. And I was actually as close as I came to not doing it was seeing how enthralled my lover Sharon was with my boy junk. I had no idea bringing a 10-inch cock to a lesbian relationship was a good thing.
Wow.
But it is, So that was the
sounds-
hardest thing, and I had the money for the operation, and I had the date, but I just couldn't negate that. I had to complete the process, and I'm good now.
That's It's a lot easier to make a hoo-hoo than to make a ho-ho, whatever you want to call it, the other way. And
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
I just can't imagine having this piece of dangling thing that could become necrotic and kind of like dangle like an elephant's trunk and really do much of nothing. And so I forewent, and I thought about it in the beginning, but I'm very happy with what I have. And
Yeah, that's
good.
it's all about perception,
Yes.
and that's a very personal thing,
Yeah.
And just to have the space to have that be a personal thing is
Exactly.
pretty special.
And I've actually gotten to like my hoo-hoo, which is something I did in the beginning, and it's all what's up here and how you kind of align things. Let me ask you, what is the most memorable moment of your journey, and is there anything you regret?
Oh, if it hadn't gone just the way it did, I wouldn't be where I am, right now. So I'm not about, trying to change any of the crap that happened. I guess the most memorable part was, like the conversation that I had with Marcy Bowers before she did the operation, before she did the surgery, all the things that she told me. My lover and I stayed in a honeymoon suite in a bed and breakfast in Trinidad, Colorado. You should have seen my mother's face when I told her I was having the operation done in Trinidad. She's like, "Oh no, please." It was like, "No, not the island. It's in Colorado. Stop it." Like they were going to do it with coconuts or something. I don't know. she was very panicked about that. Mom's sweet. My real mother and father are both gone, and my stepfather is gone too, and the only one standing is my mother, my stepmother, who started out as my Aunt Peg, but now she is my mother. And I'm in New Jersey now because of I had to workman's comp comes in 8-year increments, and my workman's comp stopped 27 months ago. So I was out here to see the surgeon that put me back together in the first place, and he gave me, ta-da, a new elbow. So May 9th I had a new elbow installed, and day before yesterday they released me, and I got to do a little more doctor-lawyer dance before I can go back to San Francisco, where I've made a life, you know. But my ex and I get along excruciatingly well.
That's good.
Yeah, it is. It is. We both, you know, we can laugh and smile while we tell each other I hate you, you know. and we don't. We just, I don't know, that's how we do.
That's awesome.
You don't get to pick your life partner. You know, that's something that just kind of happens, and I'll never have, you know, what I have with Billy with anyone else. You know, and I'm in love with Sharon, and I live with Sharon, and I've been making a life with Sharon for the past 8 years, but that's nothing like what what I had with my ex. You know, and I guess if I had any regrets, it would be that you remember the photograph I showed you of the man of her dreams? I guess I would regret that she couldn't identify that as a lesbian.
By the way, Kevin says, hi, Billia, and they say, we love you.
I know who that is.
You mentioned you're a lesbian, and I know lots of people have a hard time wrapping their brains around transsexuality. They feel that if you transition into your chosen gender, that we should be placed in the sexuality box. What are your thoughts on this?
I can make it very simple for you. I've always been a woman, and I've always loved women. Anything sounding lesbianish to you? You know, it was just a package. The package was wrong. You know, and I don't mean to make a pun, but maybe I do. The package was wrong. Stop me! I can't.
A lot of lesbians buy nice dildos and use that on each other, so you know that's.
Yeah, I know, and
I pay lots of money for.
I am hell with a dildo too, by the way, or hell with a strap-on. All that previous experience, but that was like a real strange position to be in when my lover wanted me to do her with a strap on. I was like, really? An $8 cock?
I just paid $23,000 to get it.
Yeah, really.
Remember, you want me to?
Oh, God.
The reason I ask this question is because a lot of people, not just transgender or gay or bisexual or lesbians, watch the show. A lot of straight people or allies that are learning, and they want to know. So it's like, okay, they changed their gender, and now they can't wrap their brains around it. You know, it's like myself, I'm pansexual. I'm attracted mostly now to men. And funny enough, when I was a female, I was afraid of men. So it's like, certain things happen.
I have friends, I have like 3 trans friends that identify as lesbian, and one, and they were, as men, they were with women, you know, like I was, because I've always loved women. You know, I just always knew I was a woman inside. And the one beautiful young Filipino trans woman that I know, who's hetero, can you call? Is that what you say? Who likes men. She identified as a gay man, as a man. So I don't know. It just seems perfectly natural to me.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
Well,
know?
and like I said myself, after a few years of my transition, I started becoming very attracted to men.
Uh-huh.
To have people, well, you paid all this money, you got all this facial hair and whatever, and now you could be so-called normal, and you're now attracted to men, so they have a hard time
Well, I think
wrapping
it
that
goes
around their
without saying
heads.
that I wasn't going to do anything fucking normal after,
That's right. We can't do
it's
anything
me. Come
normal.
on, I've made a life out of this.
Once
It's
we're like
61
in that
years. I'm
normal
61 years
meter,
old.
we
I'm
have
going
to
to
do
do
something
normal
crazy.
now. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you. The delay is strange. And I'm doing that chicken in the rain thing.
One of these things.
Looking like this. Sorry. I'll collect
It's like you
myself.
move one way and you try it, and it's like, okay, this thing is really messing with my head.
Yeah, I know. That's why I had my hair parted in the middle for a minute, because I can't get the whole which side my bangs go to.
That's what people that have strokes go through. They lose their perception and their whatever, and it's like hard to teach them. How to do
I was doing a stand-up gig at Harvey's in San Francisco. Shout out to Ron Vai, who runs that show. And I said, I blew one of my lines, and I said that I thought I might be having a stroke, and I got a fucking applause break for that. I was like, you hateful gay men, you. Stop that.
Let me ask you, besides being an amazing comedian, what other loves do you have, and what are your passions?
I'm well, when I first transitioned, I thought that there were so many boy things that I was going to have to leave behind. Like I worked with my back my whole life, and I know as a woman, when I say I work with my back, you think I'm a prostitute. No, I worked with my hands. I did a lot of menial stuff. I did auto body work. I paved road. I ran a flea market for a while. I worked with carpenters. I worked with framers, and then like the pinnacle of all that was ironwork. But I really thought when I transitioned, I was going to have to leave all that boy stuff behind, and that's one of the things that makes me a hot lesbian. So,
And I think society takes gender roles too serious. Little girls are supposed to wear pink and play with Barbies, and boys are supposed to wear blue and play with trucks, and it's like we need to learn to step out of that gender box or gender roles and allow people to be who they are and express themselves as they see fit.
Yeah, and I think we're moving towards times when that's okay. It's still it's so hard to get past what people have grown up with, and I can see that. It's like, I get that I was 50 years old when I transitioned. The mirrors at my house work. I will never be 18 again. That's not what this was about. This was about me getting stuff in order, and getting to a point where I could get on with my life, really. I mean, all the shit that I did as Joe was all, if I hadn't fallen, I couldn't have stepped to this like this. I would have been, I couldn't have done it.
So there's a lesson there that for every bad thing that happens in life, there's something good that comes out of it. So we as human beings need to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly, and realize that everything happens for a reason, for a purpose. Here's another one of your funny video clips that I wanted to share.
All right.
Trans people, before they get the courage to tell their truth, they have a real tendency to overcompensate. And the pinnacle of that for me was I did union ironwork. High iron, too, on the other coast. Oh, forgot to tell you that, I'm from New Jersey, where fuck you is a greeting, and teeth are optional. So I did high iron on the waterfront in Jersey City, right? And I did that for like 8 years. And about 5 years ago, I'm on the 28th floor of this 34-story building, tidying up, because I've always been, it goes with the territory, I've always been tidy. And it was messy up there, so I was cleaning up. I picked up this piece of plywood and I went to push it out of my way. My first step was wonderful. My second step was in a 2-story hole. I went from 28 to 26 express, and I broke all the shit you could break in a two-story fall. I came to an intensive care, where I realized morphine is a wonderful fucking drug. The next thing I realized was, there's plenty of ugly women out there, I'm doing this! I gotta tell you, when I first started getting out of Morgan, I was not as proficient at it as I am now. On any given day, it was hard to tell just what I was going for. One day you might have thought clown. On another day you might have thought hooker. On a bad day you might have thought clown hooker. I thought the girl at the Lancome counter liked me. I was a gold mine. Oh, that's nice. You're on my side. So part of the transitioning well is getting on hormones, right? And oh, forgot to tell you this too. If you fall off a building as a union iron worker, it's pretty goddamn lucrative. So my endocrinologist was in Manhattan, right? And I used to drive to Jersey City where I did all that iron work. And I'd park my car, and then I'd walk for the water taxi and take the water taxi across into Manhattan, right? So this one day I had driven to Jersey City, and I parked my vehicle, and I'm walking down the sidewalk, and out in front of me are two iron workers that were on the same building I was on when I fell. Except they don't recognize me because I'm doing clown hooker. But I'm not going to let it go by. I'm like, hi. I'm Morgan, I used to be Joe. They looked me right in the face and said, wow, you really did bang your fucking head. And it seems to be the way it goes. Take the other morning, I'm on Valencia, my favorite street in the city. I'm a little over the age requirement, but fuck it, I'm going in. I'm in my favorite restaurant, Boogaloo's, right? I'm eating my breakfast, minding my own business, not bothering anybody, I'm just eating my breakfast. My cute little waitress comes up to my table, and with a sweet voice and a straight face, she says, I believe you're missing a sausage. I was like, bitch, I don't even know you. So the last thing I want to tell you about is affirmation for the trans woman, right? I just never know where it's coming from next. You never have an idea what corner it's coming around next. And my lover and I got a Mini Cooper, right? I'm driving here this evening, and I may or may not have cut this young man off. Right? And he rolls the window down and he screams out the window, "You stupid bitch!" And I was like, ah, he gets it.
Let me ask you, did you ever imagine yourself as a comedian, and how has the reception been in the LGBT community?
It's been good. It's been good. I just did a storytelling show in Washington D.C. for Bear. It's a storytelling. A man that produces storytelling shows. It's been good. It's I don't know where I'm not sure where my niche is. Like Letterman's not waiting for me, But yeah. It's been good. I haven't had any, I've had hecklers, but everybody has those, and I can usually handle them pretty well.
I think times are changing. I think society is starting to be ready for us and our talents. I
still find myself sending the scouts in first to, check out the venue and stuff like that. I'm always like usually early and stuff like that.
You got to hire a couple of FTMs to be your bodyguards.
Yeah, that would be that comes later on, when the car brings me to where I'm going. So
let me ask you, where can our viewers catch your live performance, and do you have any goals for the future?
My my goal is to get done with the doctor lawyer dance that I'm doing here in New Jersey, and get back to San Francisco, and get back in it. I may do another storytelling show in Boston. I don't have it up on my website yet, but you can check me out at morgansfunny.com. I have a calendar page where I post everything. Tonight's thing is up there, and yeah, I may be going to Boston, depending on how long I'm here. I may be going to Boston to do a storytelling show also. But I'm looking to get back to San Francisco, where I was producing a monthly variety show with a friend of mine. I'm looking to do that and to just get back in the scene.
The show will be on demand in a few days, and also on the website, transitionradio.net. You're going to have your own page where people could link to your website as well and watch tonight's interview and know a little bit about you, and your pictures will be there, and it'll be part of the library of all the great interviews that I've had on the show. Okay. I want to thank you. I honor you, and keep up the great work. Through comedy, people learn. I think that's one of the best medicine and one of the best tools to educate people is to make them laugh, because when they laugh, they listen and they bring their guards down. So
thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show, and again, many blessings. All right, and thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Well, tonight on the Trans News, a new California law signed by Governor Jerry Brown on Monday ensures that students will not have to endure discrimination on the basis of their gender identity and expression. This law, Assembly Bill 1266, which goes into effect January 1st, 2014, requires that California public schools respect students' gender identity and make sure that students can fully participate in all school activities, sports teams, programs, and utilize facilities that match their gender identity. As noted by the Transgender Law Center, the new law builds on a national movement to end discriminatory practices and ensure transgender youth have the same opportunity to succeed as other students. Massachusetts and Colorado have statewide policies in line with AB 1266, and the Colorado and Maine State Human Rights Commissions have held that state law requires schools to respect students' gender identity. Additionally, many school districts across the country have adopted policies that ensure no student is left out, including the Los Angeles Unified School District, the nation's second largest school district. Rosemary, who runs the religion program at GLAD, and serves as a leader with the Naming Project, an LGBT camp based in Minnesota, says the number of trans youth who attend this camp has risen considerably in recent years, having gone from one on each summer, or to 6 or 7 now. He says this bill now protects those kids who attend public school, some of whom will also attend churches, synagogues, and places of worship. Protection for transgender youth in school will help them grow into healthy and productive adults who will eventually be America's leaders, Marie says. Just as encountering actual gay and lesbian people transformed the hearts and minds of many who once believed that homosexuality was a sin, what could happen if the media lens shifted away from those who use the Bible as a tool to demonize transgender people? What if we started hearing the stories from trans people and get to know these individuals as family members, friends, co-workers, and neighbors? Just as comedian, actors, executive transvestite, marathoner, and aspiring mayor of London, Eddie Lizard, proclaims, I believe in us. I believe there exists a desire among many Americans to explore what it means to live as citizens in an increasingly pluralistic global society that totally embraces all in our shared global humanity. There's a song I wrote that's called I Believe in Us. I probably should have put that here, but we probably wouldn't have had a lot of time. The ocean is filled with life. On the surface, it appears empty. But when you dive, you can feel and sense and see the life it holds. On the outside, we may seem so uncomplicated. But when you go deep within us, you can see the many lifetimes we have lived, the hurt, the joy, the ever-changing waves of emotions. We are complex, yet simple. We are alive, yet dead. Pandora's box has been opened. And now for the transition video of the week with Trans Cuba Dam.
Hey, was a boy too. And like the woods where I would creep, it's a secret I can keep. Except when I'm tired, except when I'm being cut off guarded. I've had a lonesome, awful day. The conversation finds its way to catching fireflies out in the backyard. And so I tell the man I'm with about the other life I live. And I say, now you're Top Gun, I have lost and you have won. And he says, oh no, no, can't you see? When I was a girl, my mom and I, we always talked. I picked flowers everywhere that I walked. And I could always cry. Now even when I'm alone, I seldom do. And I have lost some kindness, but I was a girl too, and you were just like me, and I was just like you.
I love to watch this transformation. They're amazing to me. So folks, remember to send me your transformation video link to transitionradioshow@gmail.com. Again, that's transitionradioshow@gmail.com. I look forward to watching them and then sharing them on the show. Well, next Tuesday I have Jenny Taylor, and she's an MTF advocate, and she's local here in Florida, and she's got a lot to say. She's leading her life by example, and by leading her life by example, she's helping others realize their dreams and bringing forth acceptance. And on Thursday on the TV show, I've got Devin Hellfire. He's an FTM. He's started off as a drag king, and he's heading back towards that. He's got an amazing inspirational story. He's an artist, a performer. You guys are going to love him, so don't miss out on that show. I want to thank tonight's guest, Morgan. Thank you so much. Amazing comedian, and I wish you all the best. Joe, thank you so much. Thank you for the chatters. Thank you for the viewers. And if you missed the show live, you're going to watch it on demand. So thank you guys once again. Have a great night. I love you. But remember to always love yourselves too.